Hey, welcome back to Shar's World Life Unfiltered, a podcast where we spill all the tea, reality, and just being real. And we're going to plug into something real. I'm your host, Shar, and if you've ever been stuck on a headset thinking, is it just me? Then you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about what it's really like working in a call center. I've got a few stories because I actually work in a call center myself. So we'll chat about how COVID turned everything upside down, why morale feels like it's on the floor, and whether career progression is actually real or just another buzzword. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Then let's dive in. So let's picture this. COVID took place back in March 2020 and everything basically was turned upside down. You walk into your call center, if you work in one, get your headset, you clock in, and then everything just shuts down. COVID obviously had other plans. That whole buzzing office floor vibes where everyone is there, chit chat, that's gone. The daily chats at the vending machine, that's also gone. Just a scrambled teams, like, your IT teams, whatnot, panicking, and then agents that are just like us. We're just left to just figure it out from the corner of our bedroom. You had to work from home. I didn't, so I was okay. COVID may have given us freedom, flexibility. Other people may say it left us feeling more isolated, stressed, and more invisible than ever. Let's just be real. Did customer expectations chill out? No, they actually went up. People were angry, scared, and they took it out on us, your frontliners. So yeah, COVID just didn't change call centers. It broke the old system and patched together a new one with duct tape and hope. Luckily for me, I actually joined the call center just as COVID was slowly coming out of play. So there were a few people who were actually in the office. So it actually wasn't that lonely. Majority of my team at the time actually worked from home, but I am a social butterfly, so I'm actually glad that I didn't have the experience of working from home because I would find it so boring. But I think COVID literally changed the way for call centers and jobs in general, which we'll talk about in the next segment. I want to know, did you feel supported at all during that transition of COVID, like from the office being home, were you actually furloughed? Did you have any help with when it came to IT? Because obviously, if you're not in the office, then did you ever have to Google your own IT problems whilst on a call? I want to hear it all. So please let me know how you guys managed. So moving on to our next segment, remote, hybrid, or dynamic. So we're going to talk about the new reality, working from home, hybrid models, or what some managers like to call dynamic workspaces, also known as chaos with a side of Google Calendar or Outlook, whichever software you guys happen to use. Working remotely sounds like the dream, doesn't it? Pajamas, you don't have to wake up early in the morning. You literally roll out of bed, sign onto your computer, and there you go, you start your shift. But there was the catch. When you work in your bedroom, it never actually really leaves compared to where if you was actually working in an office, your work is at work and your home is your home. And I think again, this is one of the benefits of why I was so happy that when I got this job, I could work in the office because one, I don't have the space to actually work from home, so it wouldn't have worked in my favor. Hybrid is a little bit better. You get some in office bonding, but also the back and forth shuffle of not knowing where your team will be on any given day. So most call centers, I believe, now have a hybrid contract where you do so many days at home and so many days in the office, just so that you're still connecting with everyone on your team. But again, if you've got set hours, you may not actually be on the same shift as your team. I'm on my own set hours. I went back to work after maternity, part-time. So sometimes I'll be on shift the same time as like my team, but I may finish earlier than them or I may finish later than them. But I'm the only person who works in the office on my team anyway. But there's other people in the office with me, that's within my department. There's only like an extra 3 people. So, and this is where we'll talk about where actually working in the office can feel so lonely sometimes. And then you have your dynamic workers. So that basically means we don't know what we're doing yet. Please adapt weekly. That would freak me out. I need to know exactly what I'm doing. And, like, for example, you could have a Teams meeting because we use Teams. So you could have a Teams meeting and you could hear, I don't know, someone's dog or whatever in the background barking, um, and it be off-putting, yeah, but it can't be helped, you know what I mean? Even if you're in like a room by yourself, it can't be helped. But I'm quite lucky to be, I would be under hybrid, maybe. Yeah, I think I'd be hybrid. I don't have to do any days from home because I don't have the space. So I'm a hybrid worker. Like I said, I am a social butterfly, so I'd prefer to be in the office anyway, socialize with people, make friends. That's the whole purpose of me. Sometimes I feel like going to work is to make friends. Yes, I have a job, but I also want to make friends at the same time. Um, which can be hard to do. Again, we'll touch upon this in the next segment. But listeners, I want to hear from you. What's your preferred setup? And be honest, is anyone actually productive at home? Or are you good at just alt and tabbing? Let me know. So, this leads us nicely into feeling lonely in a crowd. And this is something that I can relate to. And it's something not a lot of people will talk about, which is loneliness, and that's not just the remote kind. You can literally be surrounded by 20 co-workers, headsets buzzing, phones are ringing, and you can still feel very, very alone. Besides, call center work is actually emotionally draining. It's constant, it's repetitive, it's high pressure with very little recognition. And then when you log off, what happens? There's no closure, there's no pat on the back, just the mental weight of every single tough call that you've had to go through. That's where it can just become so lonely because, in particular, within my department, it's quite small, but like I said, there is only 4 of us on site that work in my department, and I'm not always in on the same days as everyone. We all have our own different hours. And I could have 5 minutes availability and someone could have 30 seconds. There's no time to actually talk to people, and it's very, dare I say it, depressing. And then I look around and see all these other departments that are on the same floor as us that have time to have conversations with each other, plan nights out, and that's something that we aren't able to do. We're told that we're a family, but where is the love? Where's the check-in past your stats aren't looking that great? Where's the human love and the human nature? Like, I actually cannot fault my manager because she is amazing. She'll check in on you, make sure you're doing fine, and still make sure you're hitting your targets without making it the prime focus. But there's just low morale, and Easter's just been. You think we'd get some Easter eggs from like our operations manager, something. No, we didn't. I mean, it just makes people not feel very loved or recognized. So a little tip that I'm going to give is create a buddy system, message someone, send a meme, start a quick game of worst caller of the day. I would love to speak to other people in different departments, but I don't know if they'd be very open speaking to me. I don't know. I might have to try and like chat my way in there, like, oh, I noticed that you work here quite often. Like, do you enjoy what you do? Or, oh, I sit over there. Or, hi, my name is Shar. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I literally came to work to make friends. I just want more friends. I want people to do the same things that I do. I want to be able to go out. I really don't have a social life. That is what I'm after. And just broaden out my friendship circle, basically. But I just want to put out as a reminder that you're not weak for feeling drained. You're a human. We need to be treated like humans. And sometimes when you're working in a call center, you feel like a robot. You don't feel like a human. And I suppose like when I do talk to customers, I don't sound like a robot. I just talk to them like I would to anyone in a friendly but professional manner. So it's like no lines or anything across like that. It's just can be a bit sad sometimes, I guess, which then just leads us very neatly into progression. Can you actually progress in your work area? Or does your face need to fit to even get anywhere where you work? So we're going to talk about progression or perception, however you want to see it. Because in a lot of call centers, climbing the ladder isn't just about your figures, it isn't about whether you reach on targets. It's if your manager likes you, if you stay quiet, if you're not in meetings. I've not personally seen it, but I've seen really good agents or colleagues not get the job that they were after because of not culture fit, but like work fit, like if they fit the job role. Like, what does that even mean? Like, did they not laugh at a manager's joke? Were they meant to laugh to get the job? Progression literally needs to be about skills, efforts, and ideas, not just the ability to perform social gymnastics. So, the amount of times I've actually applied for different job roles in my company and I've always been declined with no feedback. Bearing in mind, I've actually been here for about, if we don't include when I left and came back, been here for about 4 years. I've applied to about no, maybe like 2 or 3 jobs where I've literally just been declined. And I tell my manager, I'm like, listen, I applied, I didn't get anything back, like I haven't got the job. And even they sound surprised as to why. And like, did you ask for feedback? Like, I've emailed them, but then they've not got back to me. And then it literally just put me off if I'm applying for any other jobs within my company because it's like, okay, I have all the skills that you're after, but my face obviously doesn't fit, but someone else will get that job before me. So it's literally whether if your face don't fit, you ain't getting the job, and it's not fair because if you've got the skills, you can put in effort. If you know that you work extremely, extremely hard, nothing else should need to matter. But obviously, in the call center world, it clearly does. Obviously, if you've made up the ladder, then bravos to you. But if you're stuck despite the grind, it's literally not just you. You're not imagining it. It happens. Call center world is not for the weak, but if you know that you can do better, find another job that will appreciate you, is all I can really say. Drop me a message on Instagram at Shar's World Life Unfiltered. I want to hear from the ones who got promoted and also the ones who got ghosted. Who knows, I may feature your story on our next episode. So, we have gone over quite a lot. So, what actually needs to change? After all this, what now? We deserve better. We deserve better trainers. Some call centers or people in different departments may need better managers, better support, real recognition. Now, I can't fault where I work in terms of recognition because we do get like virtual gift cards and stuff that you can spend at like, like Argos, Amazon, the Primark. I can't fault it for like real recognition, but you know, real recognize real. Do you know what I mean? And there also needs to be real pathways to grow. In my department, I can tell you for a fact there's no progression. I know that for a fact you can't progress in the department that I'm in to get to manager status, which is pretty sad because that's why I've always wanted to be a manager because I know I have the qualities and the strengths to be a good manager. I used to work in customer service. I've got over 10 years experience. I know what it's like. So let me be a manager. I want to be a manager. Obviously, if I become successful doing this, my podcast and my content creating, I don't need to be a manager. I'll manage myself, be my own boss. That's the whole point. So we're going to build a call center manifesto. And this is what I have so far. So, number one is performance over popularity. Number two, mental health isn't optional. Number three, feedback goes both ways. And number four, we're people, not dashboards, nor are we figures. Have you got anything to add to our manifesto? Voice note me or hit the link in the show notes, which I will pop in little note section for you. And let's crowdsource and change. Let's change the world of call centers. That would be amazing, would it not? I think it would be. So that's it for today's episode of Shar's World Life Unfiltered. So whether you're working remote, hybrid, or on a buzzing floor, know that your voice matters even when it's just you and that headset. If this episode hits home, share it with your work bestie, your TL, or that one person who always gets 100% QA but still not recognition. I'm Shar, and until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and stay true. Thank you. Bye.